All right, we're going to do a quick review here of arc length and sector area, something that we had way back in the first couple weeks of school. So you may not remember it, but they're both related to our circumference as well as our area. If we want an arc length, that's a portion of the circumference. Okay, so circumference is equal to 2 pi r, or pi times diameter. And our area is equal to, let's see here, pi r squared. Okay, so that's what I've got for my two formulas that we've used in the past. We're just going to have those off to the side a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pop them up here. That's a good spot for them. Okay, now I can start working with my arc length and sector area. Now remember, arc length is a portion of the circumference, and it's related to my arc measure. Now my arc measure is the degree measure. So if I were to draw in an arc, let's say we've got this guy here, we'll say A, B. Okay, this arc right here, if it were, say, 75 degrees, that's my arc measure. Arc measure is 75 degrees for AB, or noted as the measure of the arc AB with the arc symbol over it is equal to 75 degrees. Okay, so that's the arc measure, not the length. The length is an actual distance, like feet, inches, meters, whatever. But I need some dimension of my circle to get that. So how about I make AO, my radius, how about I make that 8 meters? Okay, so this circle is an 8-meter radius. Well, how am I going to find my arc length? Well, it's a portion, a portion of the circumference, right? Not the whole thing, just a piece of it. Well, my formula, if you remember, is the arc measure, over the 360 degrees of a circle, right? We know that. We talked about it in the last video. And that's equal to my arc length. And think about this for a sec. We did arc measure, which is a part, over 360, which is the whole. Arc length is the part over the circumference is the whole. So something to keep in mind there, guys, is when we're setting up proportions, make sure they make sense. I have part over whole equals part over whole. That agrees. I like it. So what is my arc measure in this particular problem here? Well, my arc measure is 75 degrees. Oops. Over 360 is equal to, do I know my arc length? No. But I do know my circumference. It's 2 times pi times 8. Because 8 is my radius, right? And that's my circumference formula. So now I can just go ahead and I can cross multiply. I'm okay with you guys keeping these as decimals, as I think that kind of stuff makes a little more sense here. You'll see some people, they'll keep it in terms of pi, and that's fine too. Meaning they won't multiply out the pi, but I think it makes more sense as far as length goes when you don't have pi in it. So times 2 times 8, okay, times 3.14159, right? Or hit your pi button if you've got it. Actually, I do have it. I'm using my phone right now because I'm crazy. So when I multiply 75 times 2 times 8 times pi, I get 3,769.91 and some change is equal to 360x. So what am I going to do to solve for x? I got to divide by 360. So I get x equals, once I divide by 360, let me give myself a little more room here. So if I divide by 360, x is equal to 10.47 meters. So if I were to walk around this circle from A to B, it would be 10.47 meters. All right? Sound good? Sounds good to me, dogs. All right. Awesome. How about some sector area now? So I'm going to try and make this a little... Oh, that is not working as I wanted. Pump the brakes. All right. Let's see. There we go. We'll make this a little bit smaller. Give ourselves some room to work with. Okay. Now we want sector area. So sector area, remember, is related to our area of the circle. So we're looking at this formula up top here, right? Okay. So much like arc length, our sector area is equal to the arc measure over 360, and that's equal to the sector area over the circle area. Why don't I just write the formula for circle area? Pi r squared. So let's compare these two formulas real quick. I've got my arc measure and arc measure over 360 in both of them. That's because I'm just finding out what portion of the circle am I wanting, okay? So that part of the formula is the same, and then, well, arc length is compared to circumference because it's a length. Circumference is a length. Whereas sector area, I'm actually looking for the piece of pizza here that we're looking at, right? Okay, and then that would be comparable to my overall area. All right. So if I want my sector area, we'll say we want this area right here. I'm going to shade this in. This is what I'm looking for, right? We'll still go with the 8-meter radius. Let's do it. So my arc measure is 75 over 360 is equal to my sector area, I don't know, over pi r squared. So pi times 8 squared. So let's get out our handy dandy calculators. We can just go ahead and get decimal answers. So I've got 64 times 75 times pi if I'm cross multiplying, right? Cross multiply those guys, and that gives me 15,079.64. And I'm just leaving this in my calculator. I'm not rounding or anything like that. And now I can divide by 360 like I did the last time to solve for x. And what are we going to get when we divide by 360? I get x equals, let me do a different color so it doesn't blend in. X equals 41.887, so 41.89 meters squared. Boom, I got the squared in there. That's exciting. Okay. So there's my sector area, and I've got my arc length up there as well. I've got both of them. A nice quick refresher of the two. Let's try a couple problems now, and then, yeah, then we'll continue on. All right, find the arc length of the circle O if the radius is 10 inches and the arc measure is 80 degrees. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw on a random arc that looks like about 80 degrees, so not quite a fourth of the circle. We'll call it AB, that's fine, or XY or whatever. So that's what I'm looking for, right? And we're seeing the arc measure is 80 degrees. Wants us to find the arc length. Okay. So, if my radius is 10 inches, how am I going to figure this out? Well, I've got 80 over 360, right? 360 degrees total is equal to x over, well, what's my circumference? 2 pi times r. All right. So back to my handy-dandy calculator. I've got 80 times 2 times pi times 10. That's 5,026.548 equals 360x divided by 360. And I'm just leaving that on my calculator, you know, YORO, hashtag, you only round once. All right. And I get x is equal to 13.96 inches. Boom. All right, I want to talk about a quick little thing here. I could give you a problem where I say the central angle is 80 degrees. What's the length of the intercepted arc? Well, remember, central angle, this guy right here is also 80, right? And I should maybe make that look more like an 80. There we go. Central angle is also 80. What if I had said, hey man, my inscribed angle is 40 degrees. Find the length of the intercepted arc. Same problem here, because an on angle, the inscribed angle, is half of the intercepted arc. So I could get that my arc was 80 and then go through my same problem. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to pose these problems. So we want to find the area of the sector with arc measure 60 degrees. So arc measure is 60 degrees. I want to find the sector. So we'll say that's 60 degrees there. We'll continue with our A and our B, I guess. That's cool. Why change it up now? And we got 18 feet. And I want to find this area right here. That nice slice of pizza. Okay. That's a giant pizza at 18 feet for a radius. Wait, hold up. Oh my gosh. This is actually an 18-foot diameter, which means my radius is 9 feet. Oh, man, Mr. Allen. And I'm going to leave that in there because, everybody makes mistakes. I want you to remember that. Mr. Allen, too, makes mistakes. Not often, but it happens, All right, so my radius is 9 feet because my diameter is 18. So I had to do a quick double check there. I even wrote this problem. What the heck's going on, Mr. Allen? All right, I just yawned. Wonderful. Let's continue. So how am I going to figure out my area of that sector? Well, I know I'm 60 out of the 360 is equal to, well, I want my sector over the total area, so pi times my radius squared. Let's go ahead and math this one out. We're going to cross multiply. So let's cross multiply these two bad boys. So basically 60 times 9 squared, which is 81, times pi, that's 15,268.14029, so on and so forth, equals 360x. Divide by 360. I'm going to get my x, which is 42.41 feet squared. I'll go feet squared. Cool. Awesome. That was fantastic and wonderful all at the same time. Alrighty, guys. I will, that's it for this one. Do some practice problems, y'all.